Hello everyone, it's me Emily and welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to show you how you can knit your own hairstyles as cardigan shorts to fit your hairstyles cardigan. For finding your measurements, you're gonna want to find some pants where you love the fit, so they should 100% fit you on, or they should fit on your thighs how you want your shorts to fit. I'm gonna use my favorite sweatpants because I love the fit on my thighs for them. I'm also quite lucky because they fit really well around my waist. So you're gonna want to find some pants where the thighs fit how you want your shorts to fit, and it will be also perfect if you find some pants that fit how you want it to fit around your waist. And in general, so these are very high-waisted, so I then can just measure how exactly I want it to be. In order for us to measure it, we obviously need the measuring tape, and then we're just gonna measure how we want it to fit. You probably should measure it around multiple times because, as you can see, it's a lot wider up here than it is down here. What we're first gonna do is decide on the length. So therefore we obviously have to first put them on and then decide the length. So I'm just gonna do this real quick. As you can see, I put a pin into the place how long I want it to be. So we're just gonna measure the length now. So from the top, make it drop. No, from the top down, it is exactly oh wow, that is perfect. It is legitimately perfectly 42 centimeters. And then we're just gonna write everything down for now, so we know the measurements and how we want them to be. And this is the total length, and we also have to think that there's going to be a waistband and a width, but that's not something we have to worry about right now. The next step obviously is to measure the leg and how we want the leg to fit. So I'm going to measure it where the crotch starts and measure the width there, and I'm going to measure the bit where the end is. So the crotch, where the crotch starts, it has 34 centimeters, and the other one it is 31. So I'm gonna do a mixture between both. Yeah, so I'm just gonna do a mixture between both, but I'm gonna keep that in mind that it is 34. And next up, we obviously also need to know how wide it has to be in this bit. So we're just gonna again measure, make sure that it lays as flat as possible, and on the top it has, because like that is quite hard because there's a stretchy band in here, so I'm just gonna go with the top, and there it has about 47 centimeters. And then on the waist, we're also gonna measure the waistband to know how long that has to be. So just measuring 36, so that has to be a 36. The next thing we're gonna measure is something that is gonna help us on how long the crotch and everything is. So we're just gonna do from our lowest point and kind of measure upwards. So this is about 15 centimeters up to the crotch, and from the crotch up to the waistband it is 30 centimeters. So now that we have everything measured out, we can actually go into the planning mode and come up with everything we want to do. There is also the possibility on doing pockets, as I will do. I will try to do pockets because pockets are essential on pants, and I hate pants that don't have pockets. So if you want to do pockets, I'm going to show you how to do them. It is obviously a little easier if you do it in patches, as I will do. Because then you could just, instead of sewing them together, you can insert a pocket. But for our red patch, we're gonna do the jersey slip stitch, and since I'm starting, for the beginning of every single row we're gonna chain on 20 stitches. If you don't know how to chain on a stitch, I would recommend you watching a video for that extra. It's really easy, and once you've gotten the hang of it, really, it's super easy to do. And now I'm going to show you how to do the jersey slip stitch. It's a really easy thing to do, but yeah. So one thing before starting, I can only say when doing this jersey slip stitch, make sure you don't knit too tightly, otherwise it will curl up like crazy. It already does if you knit rather loosely, but make sure you don't knit too tight, knit loose. So what we're going to do is, for our first row, we're just going to knit a row normally. So basically for the normal knit, you're just gonna go in from the front. So we have our string on the back, we're gonna go in from the front, pick up the yarn and pull it through from the front to the front. So we're gonna go in from the front, pick it up on the back and pull it through. It's really easy, really simple. We're gonna go in and pull it through. And we're just gonna do this for this whole entire row. So now we have knitted one row. We're gonna turn our work. So we have the needle where the work is on in our left hand, the empty needle in our right hand, and now we're gonna do one row of purling. So we're for this gonna put our yarn. First we had it on the back side of the needle, but now we're gonna put it into the front. So now it's on the front, and we're just gonna go in like so. So we're gonna go in from the side, pick it up, the yarn up in the front and pull it through. So I'm just gonna show you again. We're gonna go in like from the front, gonna go in, pick up our yarn, pull it through to the back, and that's how you're gonna do it. So you go in from the front and pull back. So in from the front, take our yarn and pull it away from you. So with the needle, go into your direction, take the yarn and pull it away from you. This you're also going to keep on doing for this whole entire row until you have finished. Again, we now turn our work again, and we always, in the end of the row, when we start a new row, we always have the needle with our work on in our left hand. So now that we have this, we now come to the actual part. So now keep in mind the row, you're always on the right side of your work. You're always going to do this pattern that I'm about to show you. So for this, we're going to knit a first stitch. The first one is always a bit tricky, so we're knitting the first one, and for the second one we're just gonna go in like as if we were knit, but we're not gonna take our yarn from the back. We're just gonna slip it off and not do anything with it. The next one we're gonna knit normally, and then again we're gonna just slip it off. So knit and slip, and knit and slip, and knit and slip. We're just gonna repeat this all the way until we have reached the last two, or the last, yes, until we have reached the last two stitches. So now we have only two left, and we would now knit this one. So we're gonna knit that one, and the last one we would slip, but we can't slip it because we have to secure it. So we're gonna knit the last one as well. So we're knitting the first one, then we're slipping every other one up until we have only two left, and those we then are knitting two. Then we turn it again, and then we again on the wrong side. On the wrong side, whenever you're on the wrong side, you just purl. So as I showed you before, you're just normally gonna purl everything normally, and then you turn again, and then you do the alteration between knit and slip, and you will just keep on working in this pattern until you have reached your desired length of your patch. Now I'm going to show show you how you will be able to do this pattern. This is the Jacquard pattern. This is one of the easiest pattern, but also one of the most confusing ones, because you have to work with two different types of yarns, or not different types, but just different kinds of colors, the black and the red. And you basically will have to follow this thing where you can see the colors, and just keep in mind that you have to knit on the right side so it gets the knit look, and you purl on the wrong side. Again, with this one, don't make it too loosely, because otherwise, like this one, it will curl up. It does, that one also curls up slightly, but not as much as the other one. So now I'm just going to show you how I'm going to do it. So depending on which side you start, you just purl or knit, and just make sure that you alter it just how it has to be altered in the thing I just put on here. But if you want to get a little more close detail how that one goes, and if you want to do this, I would recommend you downloading the pattern that I posted. It is linked in the description below, and this will definitely help you out a lot. But it is a really easy pattern. You just purl on one side and knit on the other. It is really easy to do, and yeah, so you will just keep on doing this until you've reached your length. You will just work it as long as you have reached your desired length, and then you will either change color again or you cast off. And when casting off, I recommend casting off in one color, so I would recommend doing it with red, but if you want to do it in black, just cast off in one color, and it will be a lot easier than doing it in two. It's a double moss stitch, and I'm just going to show you how you do this. When you get started, you, again, as always, we take the needle with our work into our left hand and the other side one in the right hand. What you want to do is you want to start by knitting one stitch and purling the other. So I already showed you how to knit. You go in front, take it from the back and pull it towards you and off the hook. And the purl is have the yarn in front of the work, go in from the back and pull it away from you off the hook. And you keep just alternating, always a knit and a purl, all the way until you've reached the end of your row. Okay, so now that I've finished this one row, I'm gonna again turn it, how I always do. And now you wanna do the exact same thing again. So start with a knit and end with a purl. So always purl, knit, purl, and just do this for one more row. Okay, I have now finished my second row, and now the first part is done. So now what we're gonna do is can turn it, and instead of starting with a knit, we're gonna start with a purl, and we're gonna do it the other way around. So we're gonna do a purl and then a knit, and we're gonna alternate this again until we have reached the end of this row. Okay, that is done again, and we're gonna do this on the other side again, just a knit and a purl. And one thing I can say for this patch with the other ones, so with the jersey slip stitch and with the Jacquard, we had to work really loosely because they do roll up like this anyway, but they will roll up a lot more if you, or it will be a lot more extreme if you do it the other way. But with the double moss stitch, I would really recommend you working rather tightly, obviously not too tight, but really like rather tightly, because that way you can really get a nice and defined look. So we're just gonna purl, knit our work. Whoopsie, not like I did. So now we're just gonna purl knit this row 2, and then I'm gonna show you how to cast off. Okay, now that this is done, you want to take a look on where your right side is, and this is my right side. So when I'm turning it around, the wrong side or the inside of my shorts is facing me. And depending on if the inside is facing you or the outside is facing you, you kind of altern how you cast off. You obviously can just don't care, but I care about how it looks, and you won't see it in the end, but still, I'm a weirdo when it comes to things like this. But so if the inside, like with me, is facing you, you cast off in purl, and if the outside is facing you, you cast off in knit. So that is that, because it just looks a lot better. So how you're gonna do this is you're gonna go in and do just a normal purl onto your needle, and you're gonna do another purl. So then we have 2 on here, and now you're gonna go with your left needle into the first one and pull with the right one the other one through. And you just keep on doing this. So you purl 1, now you have 2 on your needle, and you just go in with your left needle into your right needle and pull the right needle through this loop. And you just keep working like this until you have finished. Also keep in mind that you should not work too tight when casting off, because otherwise it will be very tight, and you want to make it fit. You want to make it the proper size. So work in like a medium tightness. Say that. Or in a loose tightness. Let's just call it a loose tightness. You will just get the hang of it. You will know what I mean when you do it. Just to make sure that the edge is an edge, and otherwise if you would do it too loosely, it would like pull, and then it would lose its shape, and we don't want that. We don't want it to lose its shape. Okay, so we have got this, and then once you have only one more loop on here, I'm just going to show you how to do it. You can now either go and switch to a normal hook and go on with the hook and then just do it. Do it with the needle. If you don't have a normal crocheting hook with you, I like to pull it really loosely because then it's easier, and then I just kind of pull that one string through, and then I cut the middle of this larger loop that I've just pulled through the other large loop, cut it in the middle, oopsie, put the yarn from the wool away, and pull. You just pull, and then it's nice and secured, and you have casted it off. I'm going to show you how to do the green patch. This is going to be a reverse B stitch, and I'm now going to show you how you can change color. So how I do it is always know and remember that at the beginning of the round we have the work in our hand, and here we have the color. The second color is with one hand, and for our first row we just want to do simple knits, so nothing crazy or interesting happening. We just want to knit our first row and just knit it all nicely. So now that we have finished our first row, I always liked to tie these two ends together so they will not open each other again, or it will not come open. So just make a nice little double knot in it just to make it extra secure, and then things will not move. Now we can just keep on working. This is now our back, so make sure that if you have already made a pattern with the garter stitch right here, it won't be a big problem. But if you have another patch where you already have a front, make sure that you knit on the front, so that you knit on the front, and if you're on the back and you have already reached the length of your patch, then purl, so you don't have to look at this orange green line, because I personally don't find it very nice to look at. So next what we're gonna do is we're gonna knit our first stitch, and now this is where it's gonna get a little tricky. We're gonna knit one below, so instead of going into this green loop, we're gonna go into the loop below the green one, and we're just gonna knit into this one to pull it off the hook. And then we're gonna repeat this, so we're gonna do a normal knit and the knit below. And you just keep altering this way, so just a knit below and they knit. I'm just gonna show you a little slower again. So go in. Now we're just gonna knit one below, so we're gonna go into the lower one, not in the one that is on the hook, on the needle, but the one that is underneath that one. Go in, pick up our wool from the back and pull it towards us and pull it off the needle onto the other one. Again, normal knit. So go in from the front, take the yarn from the back and pull it towards you off the needle onto the other one. And just keep altering it this way until we've reached the last 2 stitches, and those 2 we're gonna knit. Okay, now we're gonna turn our work again and wait a second. And we're gonna knit. Just completely knit a row. Knit it. Now that we have finished that one knit, we're gonna again turn our work, and now we're gonna do 2 knits. So we're gonna knit 2 normally, and then we're gonna knit 1 below, knit 1, and again 1 below, just how we did in the second row. Knit 1 below and knit 1 normally, 1 below and normally. Keep alternating this until you have reached the end. And now just repeat the 3rd and the 4th row over and over again. So on the front, we're always gonna knit on the back side of our work. We're always gonna knit 2 at first and then knit 1 below, knit 1, knit 1 below, knit 1. Just gonna repeat this until desired length.